to Politricks Watch. This is Sir P. Now today I'm going to be talking about article I see in the Jamaica Observer, and it was about a member of parliament, man by the name of Homer Davis. He's the MP for St. James South. It makes some statement where sound familiar because I've actually heard things like this before. I've actually done videos on this very topic. But I'm telling you, say, signing peace treaty with criminals is not a crime fighting strategy, at least not an effective one in the medium to long term. Making bad man cool is not a crime fighting strategy. It's an illusion. If 187th in our community a fight gang war and then you work out some kind of treaty with them, right, make them cool and then stop fire shot, and then you see a reduction in murders, unless there is a follow-up where the weapons are confiscated and you get convictions, it is an illusion. The fact that them stop fire, them gun them, right, for that little time period, that no mean nothing. Because all it take is one spark and you're right back to square one. That is not crime fighting. It's smoke and mirrors. Now, today, I'm going to just show you what the MP say. But I'm giving you a case study. Because a country that have a murder rate much worse than Jamaica, well, they used to, actually attempted to do something like this. Stick around, you're going to want to hear more. But before I go any further, I'm going to tell you now exactly what the MP say. I'm going to quote him. It's on your screen right now. In the interest of fairness, I should state that Homer Davis was in support of SOEs. The reason I mention that is because when I hear him, I say no, you might get the impression say, traditionally, him no want the gangs come under pressure, and no want 87s or get locked up on anything there. That's not the case. But it sounds like Homer Davis is one of the first MPs to basically crack and say, we're running out of ideas. So this is what the MP said. I am really agonizing over how we intercede with the gangs that are really creating havoc in our space. I have a thought process. I think if we can get the combatants, the leaders of these groups, gangs together, and put them in a space and say, listen, tell me now, what are you fighting for? Tell me, what do you want? What do you need? What can we do to appease you? Mr. MP, you do not appease criminals. You do not appease gangs. Ever. I'm telling you, say, 87s coming like unruly pitney. Think about a child who will give you trouble at school. You confront the child. Since I give so much problem, I'm going to take away your game. You can't play no more video game. The child start being nice. More game. Them start show loud. Because they can't manage the noise, you say, alright, see your game here. Do you know what you've just done? You've taught that child that all them have to do is throw a tantrum and get them way. You've just demonstrated your weakness. You show them, say, once them does cause a fuss, you're going to give them concessions because you want a short-term break. That child will continue to go to school to cause havoc, because if you try to reprimand them again, they just throw another tantrum and then they ease up. Then they go back to school, give more trouble. You try to reprimand again, them throw another tantrum and you're back down. It's a dangerous cycle. This is why you do not appease 87s the same way you do not appease unruly pitney. Sure, in the short term, you get a break because I Mr. Pitney now make them more noisy now. You more game. Them stop make the noisy. Them stop make the sound. But you will suffer in the medium, the long term. Mr. MP, when gangs read your words in the Jamaica Observer, you know what conclusion them come to? Them people that can't manage you. They're losing. They want us to come to the negotiating table because they're weak. During World War II, when the fighting was constant, the Japanese were known for having a great fighting spirit. Some of them went as far as to give up their own life to attack their enemy. Many people say the Japanese spirit and their will to fight could never be broken. the United States government dropped 2 bombs in Japan, one in Hiroshima, the other one in Nagasaki. The Japanese were so stunned by the devastation of these bombs. Them say, alright, we could go to the negotiating table. We could talk. What do you want? Shortly after, the Japanese surrendered. You see, the moment Uncle Sam realized that the Japanese were willing to sit down and talk to them, they knew it was over. They knew their will to fight was done. It's the same thing. You can say, fight crime, and then you're going to say, alright, we could talk. It's the same message you send. They're done for. Their will is broken. They're quitting. This is what it translates to. That's not what the MP said, but this is how a criminal would interpret these words. This is how the citizens of Jamaica should interpret these words. No, the MP is not the Prime Minister. If the Prime Minister had said this, it would have been 100 times worse. If the Minister of National Security had said this, it would have been 100 times worse. This is an MP that's giving his opinion. But I want you to understand, this is saying, let's sit down and talk because we're defeated. We're running out of ideas. What can we do to appease you? I'll give you a case study. That case study comes from El Salvador. El Salvador is a country where Jamaica can relate to. Enough time people are trying to compare countries and then find some little places that don't even know what badness look like. So El Salvador, Jamaicans can relate to El Salvador and Honduras. Basically, I fight the same issues. You see, before we go into the case study with El Salvador, I want the people of Jamaica to understand something. 87s in Jamaica don't have a C-130 Hercules plane. They don't have Apache helicopters. They don't have subsonic missiles. They don't have supersonic missiles. They don't have Navy ships. They don't have battle cruisers. They don't have tanks. They don't have F-16s. They don't have MiG jets. Just rifle and handgun. And Jamaican politicians are saying, let's sit down at the negotiating table. What can we do to appease you? So think about that for a second. If 87s can get politicians to come to this conclusion, imagine if Jamaica had an external foe that had all the weapons them when we just talk about. 87 are making to go up on the negotiating table. Imagine an entire nation that is threatening to invade Jamaica. Them say, you know what? We like that piece of land. We're going to take it. But that's how the world used to work. It's the people get comfortable now. But how the world used to work is, that's a nice country right there. Would be a shame if somebody just take it. And man just go in and take it. By force. Not no elections. Not no Twitter polls. But by force. Through military might. So when foreign leaders, let's say Führer Simon, just so happen to take up the Observer and I read these words, do you know what's going through his mind? Hold on, this country, Jamaica, is willing to appease the 87s because they can't manage crime. Then what would happen if we were to attack such a country? Because when things get ugly and bodies start drop left, right and center, and 500-pound bombs and 1,000-pound bombs start to drop in Kingston and Portland, this what you're reading here, sir, is what Jamaican leaders would tell that invading force. What can we do to appease you? It must be what they would have said, because if gunman can get this, if gunman 87s can get this, if 87s can make politicians decide, say, you know what, we can't figure this out, we can't stop this, we could sit down and talk. Where you want? Tell you where you want. What kind of concessions you look for? If 87s can get that, then surely a big nation, well equipped, would get much more. These are not fighting words. These are quitting words. Now, may I give you a case study about this. Make bad man cool. Truce, gang truce. What you're looking at is El Salvador's homicide rate between 2011 and 2015. The reason why I show this timeline is because, according to these numbers, working out gang truce is the best thing you can do for fight crime. I can tell you why. You see the 70, right, per 100,000 in 2011. After that, them decide, say, you know what, them are going to work out gang truce. Them are going to sit down and talk to MS-13 and, the Barrio gang, and them are going to see if they can make them and them cool. Everybody agree? Gang truce was put in place. Yes, in El Salvador. And as you can see on your screen, the following year, big reduction in murders. They done them in El Salvador with a jail, make all kind of requests. Them want to move from this cell to that cell. Them want this. Them no want police run to them place. Them no want this to happen. Stop pressure with you so. Stop pressure with you so. The government give them what they want. Woke activists celebrated. See it? This is what we should have done long time. Give criminals what they want. 2013, you see, more or less the same as 2012. But then by 2014, things start to fall apart. And in 2015, the El Salvador government decides say, them done with this truce nonsense, right? Them are going to bring the fight to gangs. And as you can see, it go all the way to 103. If you were to only look at these numbers, you would conclude that giving gangs truce and give them what they want is the best thing ever, and taking away truce from gangs is the worst thing ever, because when gangs get what they want, murder drop in 2012. So you might be concluding, maybe Homer Davis is right. Give 87 to them one, so we can all live in peace. But you see this little section right there, so where you see me cut out from 2011-2015, it only tell half the story. We're not gonna see how it end. Now, continue looking for your screen now. Now, I want you to look on your screen. Remember when time them say murder drop? Do you know why murder dropped in El Salvador? Because the gangs them, instead of killing people and leaving them on the street, then we should just make them disappear. Because remember, when somebody disappear, originally, they don't get added to the murder figures. So people either disappear, but them not see the body lie down on the ground, so it was not counted as a homicide. See that on your screen. The data coming from the police, right, also seems to be in line with this fear, because them find 44 bodies in a one grave. 44. Disappearances doubled in 2013 compared to 2012. Let me say it again. Disappearances doubled in 2013 compared to 2012. But all that makes sense when crime or murders dropped in 2013 compared to 2012. Guess what? It was an illusion. You know what the gangs in El Salvador did? After them agreed to gang truce with the government, they continued to kill the same amount of people, but now they start bury them. Then bury them because if you can't find the body, then you can't add it to the murder rate, at least not for that year. Then bury 44 people in a one grave. So officially, murders dropped from 41 per 100k to 40 per 100k. Woke activists were celebrating. So me tell you now, this is how you fix crime. Give gangs what them want, give them truce. It was a smoke screen. Disappearances doubled. People start notice say them relatives start disappear and they can't find them. And murder I go down. That don't make no sense now, does it? How about this? You know what skyrocket after the gang truce? In 2012? Extortion. It's on your screen. Despite a truce between the country's top gangs, extortion of small businesses in El Salvador is getting worse, causing an average of 2 closures each week as reported by Inside Crime. Extortion get worse. Do you know why extortion get worse? Because when you negotiate with gangs and give them truce, you think gangs just give what you want? No, them have demands. And one of those demands is leave us alone. The turf them where we quote unquote control, leave us alone. Stop make police pressure with. So when you leave gangs alone, you know what them do? Extort more. Because I feed them quote unquote place. So extortion go up, disappearing go up, but officially crime was getting better. It was a smoke screen. This way you see also is inside crimes analysis, not mine. There are two big reasons given for this upward creep in murders, because the following year, 2014, murders start to go up because you can only hide so many bodies. Right? And then the gangs themselves start to settle back old scores because 87s can only live in peace for so long. But listen what inside crime say. The first reason is that the gang leadership can no longer hold their mid-level commanders in check, and that fighting has renewed, just like in Jamaica. Sure, at first you can make bad man cool, but them not forget say they've been at war for the last 5-10 years. Them not forget say they run at them yard and kill 3 of them family. Them not forget say they did kill 2 of them friend. All of these beef still exist. So them cool at first. And they done say for cool, so them cool. But them still want to second old scores. So as time go by, and them keep a running a sci-fi, right, them see my Arbitrary, them see my Crossroad, them see my Spanish Town, them see my Linstead, and them know say, that right there so is the man where they kill them bridging. So they might can't hold it the first time them see him, the second time them see him, but eventually them are going to lick off him head top because them a bad man. Because they're killers. They can only hold it for so long. And the Dan can't talk all him want talk. But see the boy there, we kill my family. This is how it works in the real world. Inside crime is talking about El Salvador, but they might as well be talking about Jamaica. Listen to the second reason. Gangs never really had a truce. It was unicorn meat. They were using the opportunity to strengthen their political hand and their criminal enterprises. This is why extortion increase. Police ease off of them, what them do? Extort more, rob more, start make more money. When they make more money, then buy more guns, get bigger and more powerful. Just like the child who threw a tantrum. In the short term, them cool, but them realize say, oh, all me have to do is throw a tantrum and make it easy for me. Alright, watch this. Them get even badder. So by 2014, them realize the murders are go. Right, because as I say, you can only hide so many bodies. Things start to unravel. The public, who did first believe say the murder rate was falling because of good policing, now start to hear say a truce in place. So people start make nice or if you sign truce with gangs. Now before in time I tell them say, when the pitney realize say them have leverage over you by just throwing a tantrum, they might do it more and more. Look on this. Leaders of 5 of El Salvador's powerful gangs say they will stop attacking police and military in a bid to relaunch a gang truce agreed 2 years ago. Because by now, the government has said, you know what, this now work, so we're going to take with this and take with that. Right, no more truce. The gangs them say, alright, we'll stop attacking you if we give you back the truce, the original deal. You see what I'm so? The gangs are completely in control to the point where them decide when time them attack or when time them stop. That's not crime fighting. When time them stop, it's because them want stop. That is why them can say, alright, we'll stop. Right, let's go back the original deal. Look at the bottom right there. So. By increasing murders in 2015 and 2016, the gangs were looking to pressure the government into giving them back the benefits they had during the Funes administration. Funes was the president who gave them what they want. I didn't give them the truce. The gangs cleverly, by the way, increased murders so that the public would say, no, 103 per 100k, give them what they want. Give them what they want. The gangs were playing political chess. See, we showing say we can drop murders in 2012, and now see we showing say we can skyrocket murders in 2015. This is what happened when they take away the truce. So if you want things to go back to 2012, give back the truce. That is what happened when you negotiate with terrorists. They now know you're willing to give them concessions, and they're going to ask for more and more and more, and it's a never-ending game. So by now you're thinking, alright, so what happened after 2016? Surely the government are going to realize that in 2012, when time them give them what them want, murders drop, And in 2015, when them take away the truce, murders skyrocket. The solution is to go back to truce days. Give gangs what they want. Ease up gangs. Take the pressure off of them. Do you know what the government in El Salvador did? The government said you're not getting back the truce, and we're going to create multiple special forces units just to target gangs, as well as introduce new laws. Right? The days of playing with gangs over. Remember, that type of talk led to 2015 getting very ugly. But just like a child who threw a tantrum expecting you have to give them what they want, when they realize the tantrum no work, they have to settle themselves. Same way 87s are period. I look on your screen right now. El Salvador, gang truce fails to ease violence. The government of El Salvador said that the truce between the country's main street gangs had not worked. Interesting. By 2016, the El Salvador government went as far as to arrest the people them who did sign the truce. The politicians, people in the security forces who agreed to the truce with these gangs were arrested because new government coming now. So let's see how this will shape up. No more truce, more crime fighting, right? More direct confrontation with gangs. Even the man them who brokered the truce deal I get locked up. You're thinking at this point, from 2016 on should be the worst years in El Salvador history. I want you to look at your screen right now. Start from the left. 2011, 70 per 100k. 2012, peace treaty signed between government and gangs. Murders quote unquote drop for the next 2 years. Bodies start fine. Gangs can't control everybody. 1 and 2 man still a scuffle. Shootout start. The truce a start for breakdown. New government come in. Decide say them a go do actual crime fighting. Get some actual convictions. Go on some actual operations instead of giving gangs quote unquote truce and deals. Look at El Salvador now. 2016, 81 per 100k. 2017, 60 per 100k. 2018, 50 per 100k. 2019, 36 per 100k. They're now below the lowest years, right, of the gang truce. The best years MC during the quote unquote truce. By 2019, them now below it. 2020, they're at 20 per 100k. 2021, they're at 18 per 100k. Murders declined. When them stop work with gangs to make them cool, when them stop appease gangs, when they started to do actual crime fighting, build some actual specialist units, get out their corrupt police officers, get out their corrupt politicians, start to work on them anti-gang or whatever them call it for them country. See the results there? The current president take over in 2019. But by then, as you can see, murders were already declining. The president at the time, a man by the name of Sanchez, said the gang truce was a big mistake because them realized the entire time gangs were quote unquote cooling and did have truce, they were actually strengthening the organization because police now pressure them as much. So them collect more extortion money, more robberies, push more diet coke, buy more guns, and that helped them to do what them do in 2015 because they were now more powerful than ever. This president decided that he might take the fight to them. El Salvador is getting such good results that even Uncle Sam said, no man, they must sign one secret deal and acquire. But then the same Uncle Sam and foreign countries that say, no man, these crime fighting policies are too harsh. They can't be both. You can't have an agreement with gangs and give them a truce and then lock up 10,000 of them in a 1 week. So both of them things they can't be true. You can't have gang truce and at the same time you lock up 10,000 man in a 1 week and I get accused of being a tyrant because you're too hard on gangs. If you have a truce with them, that means you have to take it easy on them. You have to give them concessions like in 2012. So the numbers are on the screen. Making bad man cool is not the crime fighting strategy. But you have to go give them certain things. You have to go tell them, say, you're not running the community as much, you're not police as much. You have to left them to do what they want to do in a homestead. You have to left them to do what they want to do in a Norwood. You have to left them to do what they want to do in a Central Kingston. Do you think they're going to sit down and play video games? They're going to strengthen. They're going to buy more guns, make more money, and become even more dangerous. And the next time them flare up, they're going to be even wickeder. El Salvador shown that. Signing truce with gangs is nothing new. It's been attempted many times all over the world. The same thing happened. Initially, there's a drop in murders, and it appears to be a success, but then this peace cannot be maintained because all of the old problems them still there, and the man them are going to eventually start fight again. As it stands in Jamaica, there are some divisions that are seeing a drop in murders. I'm telling you right here, it is an illusion. Central Kingston is having drop in murders. Has genocide and dark side been dismantled? Have they been disarmed? The answer to both of those questions is no. Therefore, it's just bad man are cool. Because that's how gang wars work in Jamaica. There are hills and valleys. Then get hot, then get cool. Then get hot, then get cool. And people are looking at the cool periods and say, see, this policy will work. No, it's not. Until you can show the convictions, until you can show the weapons, until you can show, say, dismantle these gangs, it's not real. It's unicorn meat. West Kingston is having a reduction in murders this year. Has YG been dismantled? Has the gangs in West Kingston been dismantled and disarmed? No. Therefore, it's an illusion. St. Andrew South is having a reduction in murders. Has Drunken Nation been dismantled and disarmed? No, it's not. Therefore, it's an illusion. There is no substitute for effective crime fighting. There is no substitute for the DPP office building cases properly and getting some conviction on these anti-gang trials. None. Everything else is unicorn meat, right, and some little temporary feel-good nonsense. See, we talk to them and them are cool for the last 3 weeks to shot in the fire. But then sit down on the whole of them gun them and all in 87 Star Road. You do not appease criminals. You do not negotiate with criminals. You do not negotiate with terrorists. Because you show them that when time you're under pressure, if you save yourself, you will give them things. And when time them ask for this, them are going to ask for that. And they're going to ask for more and more. And next thing you know, the people of Jamaica are left at the mercy of criminals. The same way extortion increased in El Salvador, the same way robberies and anything that increase is because politicians tell the gangs, say, alright, you can lock off over here, so just ease up on the murders. So what happens when Jamaicans in Laristan, Chadiga Park, right, Homestead, Norwood and them places suddenly realize that gangs operate with impunity because politicians give them concessions. Politicians tell them, alright, we're going to stop raiding as much. We're going to stop search for gun. We're going to stop take on the gun in my wharf. Just ease up on the murders. There's been a reduction since we give them the truce. We need to give them even more. Right? What else can we give them? People, don't fall feet. You do not appease gangs. Anyway, Patreon squad, big up on yourself. Yeah, you don't know. More life. Ultra squad. Stay circling. Blessed.